Hare Krishna, welcoming all of our dear Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. Welcome each and every one of you to Bhagavatamrita session 30. So we will start with our invocation prayers. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Pankajanabhaya Nama Pankajamaline Nama Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesh Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tatra Dharana Paraha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swami Niti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagara Grama Tarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Again, welcoming each and every one of you, all of our wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis on YouTube Live and on Facebook Live. We welcome each and every one of you to this session 30 of Sri Bhagavatamrita. So before we go on to the session, we would like to announce our participants from the quiz contest from session 29. From Facebook, we have Ranjani Gopika Mataji, Swati Jhunjhunwala Mataji, and Barshana Chitra Mataji. So congratulations to all three of you for your beautiful participation on Facebook. From YouTube, we have Keshavi Mataji, Shamala Gopika Mataji, Reena Kamath Mataji, and Shweta Surya Narayanan Mataji. So again, congratulating all our YouTube participants as well as our Facebook participants. Now we will continue with our Bhagavatam session of Canto 5. Today we will cover from chapter 16 through 19. Very, very interesting chapters, about the description of Jambudweep. This chapter 16 is a description of Jambudweep. Now, before we get into the description of the actual descriptions, what I would like to share with all of you is some essential factors which will help us understand these different kinds of realms in a much more clearer way. You see, Srila Prabhupada, he actually described this fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam to be one of the most special cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, because this also happens to be the navel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nama Pankaja Nabhaya. This is a very, very important canto. The reason why Srila Prabhupada said that, he said that there are more than 50 Nobel Prizes that are hidden in this fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada actually, you will see that most of these purports, the technical aspects that are mentioned here in this chapter, in this different chapters of this fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada actually does not give much insight into the technical aspects. He actually entrusted his disciples, who are Vedic scholars from the Bhaktivedanta Institute, Sadaputa Prabhu, Srila Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj. These are these, scholarly Vaishnavas from our society, whom Srila Prabhupada especially entrusted to study this fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Srila Prabhupada said that in the material world, we generally, in our realm, we actually just can relate to maximum 3D, or nowadays we have even 4D. We go to fourth dimension where, 3D is where you see things coming to life. You see things coming to life. You can see 3D movies, you can have 3D experiences. And nowadays in different, places, there are some 4D experiences. Like many cartoons, you can see in 4D experience. 4D experience means that you will also experience, if there's a rain shower, you will experience some water falling on you. If someone knocks on the screen, something like that happening, there'll be a knock on your back. So it's kind of like you're experiencing that. So that is 4D. But Srimad Bhagavatam, it goes to almost 15 to 16 dimensions. What to speak of 4 dimensions? It goes up to even 15 to 16 dimensions. So why would the Srimad Bhagavatam, describe Jambudvipa? Like today's chapters, we are talking about Jambudvipa especially. That you'll see how they're talking about Jambudvipa to be part of the earth, part of Bhumandala, as well as it is part of the celestial realm. Because we can see that there is a connection between the two. It is understanding about two parallel, worlds that exist simultaneously. By siddhis or mystic perfections, one can take shortcuts across space. This is actually mentioned, it is illustrated in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself in different accounts. Like, for example, we know about how Chitralekha, she kidnaps Aniruddha from his bed in Dwarka, and she transports him mystically to a completely different city. She just appears in Dwarka and she disappears, and she takes Aniruddha and she manifests in the other city. How does she do it? She doesn't travel by space. She doesn't travel by, she doesn't travel by air or anything of that sort. She just appears and disappears. So that is because they have the parallel realms that they have. The yogic siddhis, mystic siddhis are such. Even there, we have another example of Arjuna. In the Mahabharata, we know how, Arjuna, when he was taking bath in the Ganges, it is said that the Naga Kanya, the Naga princess, Ulupi, she abducted Arjuna and she dragged him down to the riverbed. So we would think that it would probably, Arjuna would hit the riverbed, but he actually goes to the celestial kingdom of the Nagaloka. He goes to the Nagaloka, the celestial realm of the snake, which exists on a totally different dimension. It's a totally parallel realm that simultaneously subsist. They exist. Even Bhima, when he was poisoned, and when Dushasana, as a little boy, Dushasana pushed him down into the river, little Bhima fell into the river, and through the process of the river, Bhima was dragged down to the Nagalokas. And there he met his, his maternal grandmother. And there he drank the Amrita that the Naga, local people, they gave him. And he came back with the strength of 10,000 elephants. 10 elephants, he came back with that kind of strength. He came back more powerful because he came back from a different realm. So those lokas, they exist simultaneously on a totally different dimension. And we need to understand this, that this entire bhuloka, or this Jambudvipa, the description that we are going to talk about today, that exists on these kind of realms. So when we study today's session, let us keep this point in mind. Krishna performs his pastimes. It is said that Krishna's, pastimes in the Bhuloka is going on simultaneously also, as it is going on in the spiritual world. Krishna's realm here in Vrindavan, in Golok Vrindavan, in the spiritual world, is non-different from Gokul Vrindavan here in this material world. Why is such statements made? That kono kono bhagyavan jeev dekhibare pare, that only fortunate souls can see Krishna performing leelas even now, even till today in Brajadham. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is still walking the lands of Nadia. Fortunate souls can see. Srila Prabhupada could see Gaurnitai dancing in Ratha Yatra. Srila Prabhupada could see Narad Muni sitting in the Bhagavatam class. So that's the potency of being connected through mystic powers, mystic sadhana, power of our sadhana. You can get connected to these realms, and those realms can become visible to us. So with this, mindset, I just gave this understanding so that we are able to grasp these kind of topics that we are now trying to dive deep into. So with this, we come to chapter 16, description of Jambu Dvipa. So Maharaj Parikshit, he wishes to hear from Srila Shukadev Goswami a more detailed description of the Bhumandala. And, he says that, Maharaj Priyavrata, you told me that Maharaj Priyavrata, the way he moved his chariot, he divided the land into 7 different islands. So Shukadeva Goswami, he responds that, well, it is impossible to perfectly understand the material universe. Shukadeva Goswami gives a disclaimer before he even starts describing. He gives a disclaimer saying that it is impossible to perfectly understand the material universe, but that he would describe the principal regions, just like, when Arjuna wanted to see the universal form or to describe Krishna's opulences, he said, my opulences are unlimited, but I will just give you a spark of my splendor. I'll just try to give you some principal ones, some important ones. So that's exactly what Shukadev Goswami is telling here. And then he starts describing the Bhumandala. So here we start, and then, Shukadev Goswami starts describing Bhumandala. He says, in text 3, Shukadev Goswami is saying, in text 5, Shukadev Goswami is saying, the planetary system known as Bhumandala, resembles a lotus flower, and its 7 islands resemble the whirl of that lotus flower. The length and breadth of the island, known as Jambudvipa, which is situated in the middle of the world, are 1 million yojanas, which means it is 8 million miles. Jambudvipa is round like the leaf of a lotus flower. Text 6. He says, in Jambudvipa, there are 9 divisions of land, each with a length of 9,000 yojanas, and there are 8 mountains that mark the boundaries of these divisions and separate them nicely. So it is explained here that how this Jambudvipa, it is actually resting on Mount Sumeru. It is made of gold. It is a golden mountain that it is resting on. This Jambudvipa is resting like this beautiful lotus flower on top of this Mount Sumeru or Mount Meru. And the glow, the beauty of this Jambudvipa is described that, the 9 divisions of Jambudvipa, it is explained, we will go into further details of the 9 descriptions of the Jambudvipa, the 9 islands that are dividing Jambudvipa. But 8 out of the 9, Srila Prabhupada explains that they are in the heavenly realms. Although they are part of this material world, they are in the heavenly realms. The difference is explained, which we will understand a little bit later. And it is said in those 8 realms, the lower slopes of those different mountains, there are such mystical trees. It is said that there is a mango tree there which is called as Devachuta, and it is 1100 yojanas high. Can you imagine 1100 yojanas high? And it is said that mangoes, the size of the mangoes is as big as the peak of a mountain. And it is as sweet as nectar. And when they fall from this tree, they are enjoyed by the denizens of this different 8 islands of Jambudvipa. And when the solid fruits, when they fall from such a height, they break, and the sweet fragrant juice within them flows out and becomes increasingly more fragrant as it mixes with other scents. And that juice cascades from the mountain in waterfalls and becomes rivers, different kinds of rivers. So, when we are reading such things, we should understand that it's happening on a parallel world, not necessarily in our Bhumandala, but it is happening in a parallel realm. So, we need to understand the positions of the planets were studied and known to the sages of the Vedic age, and dealing with the material world or understanding the geographical location of the material universe is not material if one understands that everything it is in connection with Krishna's energy. Krishna's external energy is this material world. So in this way, we try to understand this, that Jambudvipa is actually divided into 9 varshas, as we said. So this chapter explains those 9 varshas in detail. Who are the presiding? It is said that those 8 out of the 9 are heavenly realms, and one of them is not. So we'll find out which one is not. So there is one of them is called Ilavrata Varsha, where the presiding deity of that Varsha is Lord Sankarshan, directly Lord Krishna himself. Expansion of Lord Vishnu is Lord Sankarshan, and he is worshipped by Lord Shiva. Then there's the Bhadrashva Varsha, where Bhadrashrava, the son of Dharmaraj, he is worshipping Hayagriva, he is the horse-headed incarnation of Vishnu who rescued the Vedas and, gave them back to Lord Brahma. That's Hayagriva. Then the third Varsha, is called as Hari Varsha. There, Lord Nrsingadev's deity is presiding in that Varsha, and he is worshipped constantly by Prahlad Maharaj. Then we have the fourth one, which is Ketumala Varsha, where Lord Vishnu is residing as Kamadev, as Pradyumna, and he is worshipped by goddess Lakshmi. Then there is the Ramakya Varsha, where Vaivashvata Manu is worshipping Matsya Avatar. Then we have the Hiranmaya Varsha, where Aryama is worshipping Lord Kurma. Then we have the Uttara Kuru Varsha, where Lord Varaha is worshipped by Bhumi Devi or Bhudevi. Then we have the Kim Purusha Varsha, where Hanuman worships Lord Ramachandra. And then the last one, the ninth one. So till Kim Purusha Varsha, these 8 realms are considered to be heavenly parallel realms. They exist simultaneously. And Bharata Varsha is what is called as this Bhuloka. This entire planet Earth that we call is called as Bharatvarsha, because we should understand that at that time, the entire world that we know today, consisting of the 7 continents, they were all under this one title of Bharatvarsha. So Bharatvarsha, here, the Supreme Lord himself is worshipped by the people of this planet, especially in the form of Lord Naranarayan, is the presiding deity in Bharatvarsha. So this brings us to chapter 17, which is entitled The Descent of the Ganges. So very special chapter where, Ganga's descent and her stature is established here in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's the first time that Ganga is mentioned here in Srimad Bhagavatam. In text 1, Srila Shukadev Goswami is saying, "My dear king, Lord Vishnu, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, appeared as Vamanadev in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj. Then he extended his left foot to the end of the universe and pierced a hole in its covering with the nail of his big toe. Through this hole, the pure water of the causal ocean entered this universe as the Ganges River." Ganga Maiya ki jai. "Having washed the lotus feet of the Lord, which are covered with reddish powder, the water of the Ganges acquired a very beautiful pink color. Every living being can immediately purify his mind of material contamination by touching the transcendental water of the Ganges. Yet its waters remain ever pure, because the Ganges directly touches the lotus feet of the Lord before descending within this universe. She is known as Vishnupadi." This is another name of Mother Ganges. Later, she receives other names like Jahnavi and Bhagirathi. After 1,000 millenniums, the water of the Ganges descended to Dhruvaloka. So when Vamanadev pierced, this is all in text 1. So after Vamanadev pierced through his big toenail, Ganges entered into this world, and it stayed for 1,000 millenniums. The water of the Ganges stayed there in the upper planetary systems, and then it descended to the topmost planet in this material world, which is Dhruvaloka, which is considered to be the topmost planet in this universe. And therefore, all learned sages and scholars proclaim Dhruvaloka to be Vishnupada, which is situated on Vishnu's lotus feet. So here in this text 1, this is all text 1, it's a very long verse where the glories of Ganges is established. So Narottam Das Thakur, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, in his glorification of a Vaishnava, of a sadhu, of a guru, Narottam Das Thakur sings, "Gangaro parosho hoile paschate pavon darshane pavitra karo ei tomar gun." Narottam Das Thakur is exactly quoting what is stated here in this verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. that anybody who directly touches the waters of the Ganges is immediately purified. Just by touching the waters of the Ganges, one receives purification. Yet the waters of the Ganges remain uncontaminated because it is Vishnupadi. It has washed the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So only when we touch the waters of the Ganges, we become purified. So here Narottam Das Thakur, he's stating that Gangara Parasha Hoile Paschate Pavon, that when you touch the waters of the Ganges, you become purified. But what is the quality of a Vaishnava? What is the quality of a guru? What is the quality of a sadhu? Is darshane pavitra karo ei tomar gun. Just simply by seeing a pure devotee, we can become purified. That is the glory of a Vaishnava. That is the position of a Vaishnava. Because wherever this pure Vaishnavas, where they go, the Tirthas, all the holy Tirthas, all Vishnupadi, they reside in the body of the spiritual master. They reside in the body of a Vaishnava. That's why anybody who just sees a Vaishnava can receive purification. So I just thought of mentioning this little special note. So the Ganges, it is descending from, the causal ocean, as we all saw. So then in text 11, the glories of Bharatvarsha is being established. It is said in text 11 that among the 9 Varshas, the tract of land known as Bharatavarsha is understood to be the field of fruitive activities. Learned scholars and saintly persons declare the other 8 Varshas to be meant for very highly elevated pious persons. After returning from the heavenly planets, they enjoy the remaining results of their pious activities in these 8 earthly varshas. Means 8 earthly parallel heavenly varshas. So Srila Prabhupada in text 11, the purport to Srila Prabhupada, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that how Bhagavad Gita says, Kshine punya martya lokam vishanti, that when one finishes absolving all of their pious credits, they fall down from the heavenly planets. Sometimes there may be some pious credits remaining, and that's where they go. Such pious souls go to these parallel realms, these 8 different varshas, where they actually worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in their Archa Vigraha form. Like how, we said Lord Nrsingadev, Pradyumna, all of them are existing in different of these 8 realms. They are actually existing in their deity form, Srila Prabhupada explains. They are, although they are, and Srila Prabhupada is saying that although they are in their Archa Vigraha form, we should understand that they are non-different from directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because Archa Vigraha is direct manifestation of the Lord Himself. So this is how Srila Prabhupada explains. And in text 12, it is said that in these 8 varshas or tracts of land, human beings, they live for 10,000 years according to earthly calculations. And all the inhabitants are almost like demigods. They have the bodily strength of 10,000 elephants. Indeed, their bodies are as sturdy as thunderbolts. So this is how they live. Pious, they exhaust their pious activities by living in these parallel worlds, in these parallel realms. So it is explained here between texts of 1 to 13 of this chapter. It is explaining what is the glory of taking bath in the Ganges, that how one becomes purified, how one feels the ecstasy, by just dipping in the Ganges, because it is Vishnupadi, it is washing directly the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So in this way, we see how we always, Shukadev Goswami is advising to the end of this chapter that how a sadhaka, they actually imbibe these different aspects of devotional service, like be it to take bath in such holy rivers, to take shelter of, Bhagavatas, Mahabhagavatas. These are different ways to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is what concludes chapter 17, which brings us to chapter 18, where it is entitled The Residents of Jambudvipa Offer Prayers. So, in the tract of land known as Bhadrashva Varsha, Bhadrashrava, the son of Dharmaraj, and all of his followers, they are offering beautiful prayers to Hayagriva. Hayagriva is the retriever of the Vedas, and he helped Lord Brahma when this true knowledge was stolen by the demon of ignorance. 1 to 6 of this chapter, text 1 to 6 of this chapter, is glorifying how Bhadrashrava, in so many beautiful ways, so many beautiful prayers, he is glorifying Lord Hayagriva in this tract of land which is called as Bhadrashva Varsha. The second Varsha, we already talked about Ilavrata Varsha, how Lord Sankarshan over there is worshipped by Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva glorifies Lord Sankarshan in that particular tract of land. Then in Hari Varsha, Shri Prahlad Maharaj, he prays to Lord Nrsingadev. Now, very, very important verse in this particular chapter is text 8 of chapter 18, where Prahlad Maharaj is giving us one very important prayer that we can actually learn by heart and recite for the protection of Lord Nrsingadev. It's a very beautiful verse. Text 8. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Namaste Tejase Avir Bhava Vajranakha Vajradamshtra Karmashayan Randhaya Tamograsha Grasha Om Swaha Abhayam Atmani Bhuyishtha Om Kshram. This is the mantra to seek shelter of Lord Nrsingadev, which translates as, I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsingadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. So Srila Shukadev Goswami also explains, when he is explaining these verses like this, that Prahlad Maharaj is glorifying Lord Nrsingadev, he also speaks that in later cantos, like we just talked about a little bit about Vamanadev. We didn't talk in detail about Vamanadev. Then we are talking about Hayagriva, we are talking about Sankarshan, we are talking about Lord Nrsingadev. So Shukadev Goswami is saying, this is just to tingle your taste buds. Just to tingle your taste buds. Have patience. We will discuss more in detail in the forthcoming cantos. Yes. So in text 19, it is glorifying about Ketumala Varsha, where Lakshmi Devi is praying to Lord Pradyumna, personification of Kamadev. And she's saying, my dear Lord, you are certainly the fully independent master of all the senses. Therefore, all women who worship you by strictly observing vows, because they wish to acquire a husband to satisfy their senses and surely under illusion, they do not know that such a husband cannot actually give protection to them or their children, nor can he protect their wealth or duration of life. For he himself is dependent on time, fruitive results, and the modes of nature, which are all subordinate to you. And Lakshmi Devi goes on to pray that a woman should actually pray that Krishna should be our husband. So it is explained that a chaste woman, she actually has two husbands. Chaste woman having two husbands, kind of an irony, but it's not. It is said that a chaste woman has two husbands because her first husband is Krishna. Krishna, the all protector, the supreme protector, is the first husband of the woman, of a chaste woman. And then Krishna then gives the protection, he hands over the protection and gives it to one of his representatives. And that is the second husband, who has a physical material body, and they take charge of taking care of the woman. So therefore it is said that a chaste woman does have two husbands. Later on, goes on to explain. So this verses from 15 to 23, Lakshmi Devi is glorifying Lord Pradyumna. Then in the Ramakya Varsha, it is said that Vaivashvata Manu is glorifying and seeking shelter, and he's worshipping the deity of Matsya, Lord Matsya. And text 24 to 28 of this chapter is he's offering beautiful, beautiful prayers. Like text 25, he's saying, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is pure transcendence. He is the origin of all life, bodily strength, mental power, and sensory ability. Known as Matsya Avatar, the gigantic fish incarnation, he appears first among all the incarnation. Again, I offer my obeisances unto you, O Lord. So like this till text 28, Vaivashvata Manu is glorifying Matsya Dev. Then in the Hiranmaya Varsha, we have Lord Kurma, who is being worshipped by Aryama. And here from text 29 to text 33, Aryama is glorifying Kurmadev. And he's saying that in text 30, beautiful prayer, he says, O my Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who have assumed the form of a tortoise. You are the reservoir of all transcendental qualities, and being entirely untinged by matter, you are perfectly situated in pure goodness. So this way they are offering their respectful obeisances to Kurmadev and to the personality of Godhead. Then in the Uttara Kuru Varsha, Lord Varahadev is the presiding deity, and he is offered prayers by Bhumi Devi or Bhudevi. And Bhudevi is glorifying Lord Varaha from text 34 through 39. Beautiful prayers, beautiful, beautiful prayers. She's saying that in text 39, she says, My Lord, as the original boar within this universe, you fought and killed the great demon Hiranyaksha. Then you lifted me, earth, from the Garbhodaka ocean on the end of your tusk, exactly as a sporting elephant plucks a lotus flower from the water. I bow down before you. And this is the concluding verse of this chapter 18, which brings us to chapter 19, the final verse for today, final chapter that we are discussing for today, which is the island of Jambudvipa. So in this chapter, Shukadev Goswami, he is describing how, we discussed a few of the realms. We didn't complete the different two other varshas. We are still yet to complete two more varshas. So here, the first varsha is Shukadev Goswami is describing is the Kim Purusha Varsha, where Krishna Chaitanya, the great devotee Hanuman is always engaged in hearing and chanting the glories of Lord Ramachandra. So in text 9, this glories of Lord Ramachandra, of Hanuman glorifying Lord Ramachandra, is from text 1 through text 8 of this chapter 19. Then text 9, Shukadev Goswami is continuing to describe the Lord's appearance in Badrikashram as Naranarayana. So text 9, he is talking about, Bharata Varsha. So Bharat Varsha, he's saying that the Lord mercifully appears in different incarnations in this Bharat Varsha. And one of the very beautiful ones is the glory of, the glories of the Supreme Lord. Text 9 is saying that the glories of the Lord are inconceivable. He has appeared in the form of Naranarayan in the land of Bharatvarsha at the place known as Badrikashram to favor his devotees by teaching them religion, knowledge, renunciation, spiritual power, sense control, and freedom from false ego. So then, after describing Naranarayan rishis and why they came and the different other incarnations at Bharatvarsha, Srila Shukadev Goswami goes on to describe about Sri Narad Muni. That Narad Muni, he, in his book, text 10 is saying that in his book known as Narada Pancharatra, Bhagavan Narada has very vividly described how to work to achieve the ultimate goal of life, which is devotion, through knowledge and through execution of the mystic yoga system. These are the two ways to attain to devotional service. One is through knowledge and the other is through mystic yoga system. And he has also described the glories of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the great sage Narada instructed the tenets of this transcendental literature to Savarni Muni in order to teach those inhabitants of Bharatvarsha who strictly follow the principles of Varnashram Dharma how to achieve the devotional service of the Lord. So here the Narada Pancharatra is glorified, that how Narad Muni, along with the other inhabitants of Bharatvarsha, always engage in service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is how, the tenets given by Srila Narad Muni, in the form of Narada Pancharatra, which Srila Prabhupada has inculcated into our devotional practices. We don't have to individually go and study the Narada Pancharatra. Srila Prabhupada is so merciful, so amazingly beautiful. Srila Prabhupada is that he actually has studied and given us the essence of the Narada Pancharatra in the form of our daily spiritual practices. The morning practices that we start from the Brahma Muhurta, chanting our japa, performing Mangalarti to the Lord, offering our first prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by glorifying the spiritual master who is the representative of the the spiritual master who is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by singing the Guru Ashtakam. These are all tenets that are described in the Narada Pancharatra. That is the glory of Srila Prabhupada, how he has given us the practical aspects of devotional service, how to engage in devotional service and thus follow the instructions that are given here by Narad Muni. That is the glory of our acharyas. So text 19 goes on to explain a very, very important, it's one of the very important verses in this chapter. It says that people who take birth in this tract of land are divided, this tract of land meaning Bharatavarsha, are divided according to the qualities of material nature, the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Some of them are born as exalted personalities, some are ordinary human beings, and some are extremely abominable. For in Bharatvarsha, one takes birth exactly according to one's past karma. If one's position is ascertained by a bona fide spiritual master, and one is properly trained to engage in the service of Lord Vishnu according to the four divisions Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and the four stages of spiritual divisions Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, one's life becomes perfect. Text 20, very important again. After many, many births, when the results of one's pious activities mature, one gets an opportunity to associate with pure devotees. Then one is able to cut the knot of bondage to ignorance, which bind him because of varied fruitive activities. As a result of associating with devotees, one gradually renders service to Lord Vasudeva. ব্রহ্মাণ্ড ভূমিতে কোন ভাগ্যবান জীব গুরু কৃষ্ণ প্রসাদে পায় ভক্তি লতা বীজ. This is what is saying in, Shukadev Goswami is saying in this text 20. That in this Bharatvarsha, now when we say Bharatvarsha, we should understand that it is talking about this entire world. Okay, always keep that in mind. That's something that we should always remember. And then the later part of the chapter, something very, very magical, something very mystical is happening. Because Shukadev Goswami is quoting what is the desire of the Devatas. What are the Devatas talking about this Bharatvarsha? And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that Bharatvarsha also refers in specific, in detail, to also the tract of land which is called as India, Bharat today. So it is said in text 22, the demigods are saying, after performing the very difficult tasks of executing Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, undergoing austerities, observing vows, and giving charity, we have achieved this position as inhabitants of the heavenly planets. But what is the value of this achievement? Here we are certainly very engaged in material sense gratification, and therefore we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. Indeed, because of our excessive sense gratification, we have almost forgotten the Lord's lotus feet. The demigods are lamenting that being in the heavenly planets, we are here because we have done such pious activities. We are here. But because we've got so much sense gratification, we have almost forgotten the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 23, the demigods are saying, a short life in the land of Bharatvarsha is preferable to a life achieved in Brahmaloka for millions and billions of years. Because even if one is elevated to Brahmaloka, he must return to the birth of repeated birth and death. Although life in Bharatvarsha, which is a lower planetary system, is very short, one who lives there can elevate himself to full Krishna consciousness and achieve the highest perfection, even in this short life, by fully surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord. This is the text 23. Such amazing words are being spoken here. The demigods are saying these words, that thus one attains Vaikuntha Loka, where there is neither anxiety nor repeated birth in a material body. The demigods are, that's why Srila Prabhupada said the Devatas are standing in line to be born as humans in the home of devotees, in the land of Bharatvarsha. Such a glorious life. Text 28, the demigods are saying, we are now living in the heavenly planets undoubtedly as a result of our having performed ritualistic ceremonies, pious activities, and yagyas, and having studied the Vedas. However, our lives here will one day be finished. We pray that at that time, if any merit remains from our pious activities, we may again take birth in Bharatvarsha as human beings, and thus able to remember the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord is so kind that he personally comes to the land of Bharatvarsha and expands the good fortune of its people. This is the concluding verse of this particular chapter. So the demigods are aspiring to take birth as human beings in this land of Bharatvarsha. How fortunate are we that we have come during this time, that we are so fortunate to somehow or the other come in contact with devotees, come in contact with the movement of Srila Prabhupada, which is giving us an opportunity to render devotional service and return back home, back to Godhead. Such a special opportunity is being provided to us. So we must grasp this opportunity with both our hands and never ever take this opportunity for granted. Never take it for granted. Never become, saying that, yeah, I'll just chant 16 rounds. Never become, just happy-go-lucky devotees. Let's not be in that situation. Let's not take the mercy of Lord Nityananda for granted. Let's not take it for granted. The mercy is there. How much we utilize it is up to us. The Supreme Lord is showering His mercy. The Guru is giving His mercy. That's why when the spiritual master writes to us, what is the first line? Please accept my blessings. My blessings are already there, but we should be ready to accept it. We should be favorable enough, desirous enough, enthusiastic enough to accept that mercy that is coming. If we are not able to accept the mercy, then how will we be able to make any kind of spiritual progress? That's not going to be possible. So let us not, today, let us make a determined, decision, determined effort to promise to Krishna, like we always say that Krishna consciousness and this process of surrendering to Krishna, it is a moment by moment surrender. That not that just because I surrendered to Krishna while I chanted early morning today, it doesn't guarantee that remaining 22 hours of our day we will be surrendered to Krishna. It depends upon us how much we are choosing to seek shelter of the Supreme Lord at every moment of our day. That is sadhana bhakti. That is what Narada Pancharatra talks about. That is the teachings of Narad Muni. That is the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. That is the teachings of our Guru Vargas. So let us take this seriously and truly seek shelter of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, with that dependence on Krishna. Lovingly call out to the holy names and seek proper shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thus making our lives grandly successful. So with this, we will come to an end to this session. If there's any questions, comments, or reflections, we can take that now. Thank you very much. So before we go on to any questions, here's the quiz. We have 12 questions. So Krishna Chaitanya. First question, who abducted Aniruddha from Dwarka and transported him mystically to another city? Second, what are the Bhumandala compared to? Third, who is the presiding deity of Ilavrata Varsha? Fourth, which incarnation does Lord Shiva worship? Fifth, why is Dhruva Loka also called Vishnupada? Sixth, for how many earth years do human beings live for in the 8 Varshas other than Bharat Varsha? Seventh, who is the father of Bhadrashrava in the Bhadrashva Varsha? Eighth, in which Varsha does Prahlad Maharaj worship Lord Nrsingadev? Ninth, who are the 2 husbands of a chaste woman? 10th, in which Varsha is Kurmadeva worshipped? 11th, in which Varsha does Bhudevi offer prayers to Varahadev? And 12th, why is short life in Bharat Varsha preferred to millions of years in Brahmaloka? So these are the questions for the quiz for today. If there's any questions, please let us know. So from YouTube, we have Shiva Prabhu, Shiva Kumar Balasubramanian Prabhu. Hare Krishna was about to ask what comprised of Bharat Varsha. You've already answered. That is a full world. This is pleasing, as one don't have to worry about taking birth in anywhere here. Yes. Okay. Keshavi. Bharat Varsha means earthly planets in each universe. It's not just our planet we live. Is that correct understanding? Bharat Varsha means earthly planets. It means Bharat Varsha means our earth only. It means only our earth. So it is the entire Bhuloka. This Bharat Varsha is our earth, is what is explained here. Next question. I hope that answers your question, Keshavi. Sudeshji, can you please explain what 9 varshas specify? 9 varshas, they specify about the Jambudvipa that we were talking about. That Jambudvipa is divided into 9 specific varshas. So that is what the 9 varshas specify. They are parallel, the 8 varshas, not Bharat Varsha, but 8 varshas are parallel realms of this Bhuloka. So that is what these 9 realms specify. I hope that clarifies your question. Raji Mataji, why in highly planets can't be in KC and can't go to Golok Vrindavan even though they are opulence, they perform more austerity than us, and high planets mean where all devatas. Yes, as was explained by the devatas themselves, the demigods themselves are saying that in higher planets, they don't do anything other than just enjoy. They just have sense gratification there. They don't have any other activities. They don't have any special means where they can remember the lotus feet of Vishnu. No specific satsangs or anything that is going on. Their sanghas are there, but their sanghas are all of seeing. It's just means of sense enjoyment. That's heavenly planets. So that's why the demigods are saying that we don't want millions of births on any of these heavenly planets, but we just want a short life on Bharatvarsha, because in Bharatvarsha we will get an opportunity to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which we will not get in the heavenly planets. So I hope that answers your question, Raji. Anju Agarwal ji, thank you for explaining. Okay, kindly clarify, when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is it compulsory to count it, or we can just say in our mind the entire day while doing our work also? Yes, of course. You can definitely say it in your mind the entire day. That is the ultimate objective. Um, the ultimate objective is actually to chant every single moment of the day. That is the ultimate objective. But however, we do need to have a specific number that we chant every day, and apart from that we can keep doing extra also. That is explained that if you have two different saplings, if you have two small seeds that you put in a pot, two different pots you put two seeds and they start growing into small saplings, and then you keep watering. In one you put one day you put 1 cup of water, the next day you don't put, third day you don't put, fourth day you put 4 cups of water. But in the other pot, you regularly put little by little water every single day. The same amount you keep putting. There is some kind of regularity. And you keep putting that same kind of amount of water in that sapling pot, in the second pot. So which pot will have a better plant? The second pot, obviously, because there is regular watering going on over there. So Srila Prabhupada always says that when we, Bharat Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. This Bhakti Lata, the creeper of devotion, it's a bij, it's in the form of a seed which is sown in our heart. So we nurture this Bhakti Lata creeper with the chanting of the holy names. That is the water that nurtures our Bhakti Lata creeper, our Bhakti Lata bij. And when we keep watering it with specific number of rounds, and then apart from that, we can keep chanting extra. There's no problem with that. But specific number of rounds if we can do, then our Bhakti Lata bij will grow very steadily and very healthily. It will grow. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much for your question. Shamala Gopika. We have a question from Shamala Gopika on Facebook. Thank you. Okay, there are 14 planetary system, and what about the planets that signs specify, like Mars, Jupiter? How we can understand where these planets are in? Please help to understand. Very good question. So we have the 9 planetary system. We have, I mean, the solar system. Basically, now they're discovering. We grew up studying that there are 9 planets, but now they've discovered a 10th and the 11th also. But anyways, so we have, the sun, moon, higher planetary systems. We have, so these Surya, Chandra, all of these are called as higher planetary systems. And the current solar system, the solar planetary system, is from a different perspective and an incomplete list of planets, because Vedic cosmology sees everything from a different perspective. The same planets may be there, but Vedic cosmology sees it from there are many different solar systems according to, the Vedic philosophy. Here we have the sun as the center of our solar system. That's why it's called solar system. So there may be different other planets which can be, different other realms. So in that sense, we have so many different realms. And in this Bhuloka, yes, we have this current solar system also. So these are just seen from different realms and seen from different levels, from different, planes, basically. So hope that answers your question. We have another question on YouTube. Shiva Prabhu, what is above and below Jambudweep? Is Jambudweep boundary of material world? Jambudweep is not the boundary for the material world. It's actually, it is said, like Jambudweep is sitting on top of the Mount Meru, it is explained. And in the further cantos, it will be revealed, just in the last 3 cantos of the 5th canto, it will be revealed that how Lord Anantashesh is actually holding this entire creation upon his hood, and what is right above, Anantashesh's hood, and how the entire, system is working. All of that is going to be explained. So Jambudweep is, if your question is where is Jambudweep, Jambudweep is resting on Mount Meru, the Golden Mountain, Mount Sumeru. So hope that answers your question, Prabhu. And we have one more question, I believe, from Raji again. I heard your lectures of Nityananda Ashtakam. There you were saying Janava Devi as the expansion of Revati, original form of Ananga Manjari. That's right. Um, Ananga Manjari is the sister of Srimati Radharani, and expansion of Lord Balaram himself. So Revati, in that sense, she is also coming, just like Radharani comes from Krishna. She is the happiness. When Krishna is extremely happy, you take that happiness out of Krishna, that happiness manifests as Srimati Radharani. So similarly, Lord Balaram's, consort is Revati. So when, Lord Balaram, he manifests as Revati Devi. So in that sense, yes, Ananga Manjari is, connected to Revati. So I hope that answers your question. Um, okay, Shiva Prabhu has another question. Sorry for out of context question, no problem. Is Devatas from other lokas still visiting our planet like they visiting our planet? Yes. Srila Prabhupada confirmed that Devatas are actually, Srila Prabhupada actually made the comment that when we have sandhyartis, or whenever there is arati for the Supreme Lord at the temple, Srila Prabhupada said that the Devatas come on the walls, because they all come to take darshan of the arati of the Lord while it's getting done. And in fact, in many times, the devotees have witnessed demigods coming and seeing, that they are performing abhishek. to the Supreme Lord while on auspicious occasions like Janmashtami, Radhashtami, so many different occasions. So different devotees have seen. Srila Prabhupada always witnessed. Srila Prabhupada, he would say that while while Prabhupada was speaking Bhagavatam, Narad Muni and Vyasadeva had come. Srila Prabhupada could see them. So demigods also do come. So I hope that answers your question, Prabhu. Very nice. It's definitely not out of context. It's very much in context. Prajvani, why do we chant with the chanting bag specifically instead of doing rounds mentally? Very good question. You see, when we chant with our beads, because the beads are made out of tulasi, they either are made out of tulasi or they are made out of neem wood. So it is said that when we are chanting, because of our impure senses, it is so difficult for us to concentrate on the holy names, to concentrate our mind, which is the sixth sense. So therefore, we try to engage as many senses as possible in directly concentrating on the holy name. So we are utilizing our tongue in speaking, we are utilizing our ear in hearing, and we are utilizing our sense of touch by touching a pure devotee, Tulasi Devi, in while we are chanting the holy names. We are chanting that way. We are associating with Tulasi Devi or with neem, that's non-different from Nimai, from Lord Chaitanya. So we are taking their association using our sense of touch, which is just helping us in concentrating on the holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I hope that answers your question. So Raji Mataji, I believe you have another question. What is the difference between expansion and original form? So this is explained by Lord Brahma himself in the Brahma Samhita, that Lord Brahma says, दीपार्चिरेव हि दशन्तरमभ्युपेत्य दीपायते विवृतहेतुसमानधर्मा यस्तादृगेव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि, which means, he says, Lord Brahma is saying, just like if you take one candle and you light another candle, and then you take that candle and light many more other candles. Once all the candles are lit, then there's no difference. Every candle is a lighting candle. But amongst them, there is still one original one, which you had used to light the other candles. So that is the difference between original and the expansion. Actually, there's not much difference at all, but the original candle is the source of the other candles. So this is what is explained by Lord Brahma himself. I hope this answers your question. And I believe there is no more questions. So we thank each and every one of you for this very engaging session. We thank all of you for your online participation. We look forward to your association tomorrow for a very, very beautiful session by Prabhu. So please stay tuned and we look forward to your association. Thank you all so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Vartaman Guru Vrinda ki jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.